Most of us think that when we get something, we'll be happy. But true happiness is when you give. The very purpose of life is to share the goodness with everybody around. And that's what Sangachatam means. Let's walk together. Jai Gurudev. Hmm? Is there anybody in life without any challenge or a problem? Life is full of challenges. This is pertinent to everybody. Everybody's life, there is one or the other challenge. Whether you are rich or poor, whether you are educated or uneducated, whether you live in this country or that country, whether you are a male or a female, we all have challenges that we need to overcome on a regular basis. What makes it easier to navigate is the maturity with which you handle them. First of all, knowing that you cannot escape them, they are part of your prarabdha karma. You know, there is no escape from these challenges. And it's not just you. The mind has this tendency of saying that it's only me who is struggling. Look how happy and comfortable everybody else is. God is unfair to me. Life is unfair to me. No, everybody has one or the other challenge. Maybe they won't show it off in their Facebook posts or the weekend parties. This is the tragedy that when you're on your own, you think your life is being so unfair to you, you are having all the problems. But when you are in a group, you show off as if you are the best living person. You are the happiest, and all the best things are only happening to you. You're caught in this conflict, in this uh, hypocritical state of life. However, coming to the back to the situation, how do we handle these challenges? And what are these challenges? If you look at them, they only fall into 4 or 5 categories. It's either health, relationships, which includes your partners or your children, career and finance, money matters, work related. Also could be respectability, opinions of people about you. I think 90 to 95% of all our problems or challenges fall in these 3 4 categories, isn't it? Some of them could be personal. You may say, oh, I'm too lazy, I'm not able to pull myself through, I know what is wrong and still cannot do something right. These are there. These are problems for a much more mature individual, where he sees he himself is the main source of the thing. He has to pull his socks up. That is much easier to solve. These are the ones where most of the times you feel that something external has robbed you of your happiness, is making your life difficult. So, the most mature way of dealing with it is being a witness. Whether you go through pleasantness or unpleasantness, be a witness. And to be a witness, you need to separate yourself from the problem, from the emotions, from your reactions to the problem. Usually, it is not a situation which is bothering you. It is how you look at it and how you handle it and how you react to it. Yeah. Usually our mind tends to exaggerate the negativity, so situation appears much bigger. And what makes this even more real is the type of people we surround ourselves with. If we surround ourselves with weak people, immature people, people who just want to please you and not try to uplift you, you end up believing that whatever your problem is really big and it is really difficult and life is really unfair. But when you have learned to witness, whether it is pleasantness or unpleasantness, you will not get carried away by either of them. The moment you start witnessing, you see not just the problem, the whole situation appears a little distant. It's like watching a movie. You see a movie on the screen, however engaging it may be, there is certainly a part of you which knows that you are not part of it. You are witnessing it. You are able to disconnect from it quite easily. This exact same thing happens when you witness what's happening in the body and the mind. When you witness your thoughts, your emotions, the situation, the circumstances, it's as if it's in a movie. As Gurudev keeps saying, you can clearly see that life is like a dream. What does life is like a dream mean? That it is distant to you. It is more of an imaginary work of your mind and little of the facts. Even if there are facts which are undebatable, then you will see that they are working at different levels, and you as a witness are further away from all those levels. You're still able to be settled, be peaceful, in spite of all this turbulence that is seen in the body and the mind. And look at all the problems we talk about, challenges. They're only in the body or in the mind, isn't it? It's either something in the physical form or in the psychological or mental form, right? So this is the most mature way of doing. That's why practicing being a witness is such a key role in so many aspects of our lives. The most important being it gives clarity in you that you are not just this body and mind. In fact, you are not the body and mind at all. At least the starting point would be that I'm not just this body and mind, I'm something bigger and more powerful than this. However, if you think that is not possible, you're too much engrossed into the problem, too much sunk into the problem. It is covered you from all sides. It's an existential problem for you. What do? How do you handle the situation? Be objective. The first thing you need to do is be objective. What is being objective means? Try to separate yourself as a participant of the problem. Think that if this problem was happening to X or Y and they came to me to ask for a solution, how would I look at this? So separate yourself from the problem and look for a solution. Dissociate. And when you dissociate, don't blame. You see, you have seen this in your life when you are handling friends who are going through difficult times and they come to you for a solution or just come to you to talk about it. You see that they're constantly finding somebody to blame for their, and you're trying to put it across to them saying that there's no point in blaming somebody. No, you need to find a way out of it. Blaming somebody will not bring a way out of it. When you authorize or authenticate somebody is the reason for your problems, then you are not looking for a solution to come out of your problem. You are trying to look for a way to make that person also suffer. You don't want that person to get away easily. You are no longer worried about you coming out of the misery. You want to make somebody else miserable. This revenge attitude comes out in you, which is very dangerous. It's completely self-destructive. So first of all, be objective. Dissociate from the problem. Stop blaming the person or the situation. All that we go through in life is because either we deserved it or we desired it. This may be difficult to accept for somebody who is going through really bad emotional turbulence or any sort of a difficult situation. But no, this is true. It has all got to do with what you have done before or what you wanted before, knowingly or unknowingly. You may not see it now, but you will see at some point. There are many things. Like, for example, you heard the story of Shravana Kumara. The Shravan Kumara, he was had blind parents who were completely dependent on him, and he was carrying them and taking them on a pilgrimage. And then once the parents were thirsty, they wanted some water, so he went to collect some water in a pot. And while he was collecting that water in a pot, the sound of water entering the pot appeared as if an animal is drinking water. So the king Dasharatha had come hunting from a distance. He could not see, but he could hear the sound. In the direction of the sound, he hit the arrow, thinking it's a deer. But unfortunately, it hit the boy, and the boy got killed. So the parents who were so dependent now became completely helpless, and they felt so sad, so shocked, so grief stricken that they cursed Dasharatha that one day you will also die because of this Putra Shoka. One of the worst pains that you can experience is having to witness your own children pass away before you. Separation from the children is very painful, whether it's temporary or permanent. So he said, you will suffer through this Putra Shoka and die in this Putra Shoka like we are. And it happened. Now, if Dasharatha blames Kaikeyi or Mantara for this, he should realize that what he did has come back to him. Unfortunately, these people were forced into this drama of the karma to give this to him, to make this happen to him. Somehow it had to happen. So they had to take the role of making it happen to him. So they are not the ones to be blamed. He deserved it because he had done something before. Do you see this? And similarly, there's another story about this lady, this young beautiful princess who was married off to a sage, because in those days it was believed that there was no rain in that kingdom. And the astrologer said, if you marry your daughter off to a sage, a sattvic person, then the country will get better. So they found a sage who was living in a forest. And then the king requested his daughter, can you help the kingdom by marrying this sage? And she agreed and got married. And this was a girl who was brought up in the palace with all the luxuries, and then she had to live in the forest. So she was okay. But then very soon, the sage became afflicted with the disease, and he became very sick, and she had to look after him all her life. So there were a lot of suppressed desires in her, which could not be fulfilled by the sage as a husband. But the sage was aware of all this. So when he was about to pass away, he told her, look, you have looked after me so well. I've done so much yajna, so much tapas, and all the merit of this is my inheritance. I want to give it away to you. You deserve this more than me. You are a princess, you are young, and I could not fulfill many of your desires. I could not look after you well. Tell me what you want. And don't hesitate. This is the chance for you. And then she says, I didn't have much experience of physical pleasure. I didn't have this experience of having a husband who was powerful and strong. I want that experience. So he says, okay, have this. I bless you with all the merit of my sadhana of this lifetime, so that in the next lifetime you will get all what you want, and you'll get more than you can handle. And that princess was born as Draupadi in the next life, and she had 5 husbands. She wanted one good husband, 5 husbands. So what I'm trying to tell you is, whatever situation we find ourselves in, either we deserved it or we desired it. So there is no point in blaming somebody else for what we are into. And remember, in all these situations, wherever you have ended up, whether it is relationships or health or somewhere we had a choice. Somewhere we had a choice of healthy living. Somewhere we had a choice of choosing the partner. We executed that choice. And that didn't turn out well. That is a different story. But we had a choice as well. So this is the first step. First step is what? Disconnect the problem from this person whom you think is doing this. Don't take away the blame associated with the problem. See problem as the problem, challenge as the challenge. Try to be as objective as possible. Take the emotion out of it to begin with while you're trying to find a solution. And then look at what could be the worst possible outcome and what could be the best possible outcome. Okay, what's the worst possible outcome? What is that we are afraid in all these challenges in life? We're afraid of losing something, right? There's a fear of loss that you think you have something that you may lose it. And the worst fear, the biggest fear, is the fear of losing this very body, of dying, right? People, possessions, positions. This is what our attachment to. We are afraid of losing them. Now, if you see that you are in a situation where there is a fear of loss and that there is no escape from it, what can you do? These are things you need to sit back and write the worst possible situation, write it down, and then prepare a plan how you are going to go through it. What is it the best you can do to come out of it? So you already conserved a lot of energy by not blaming somebody, by not wanting to take revenge or this and that. It's your own karma which has come back to you. The more gracefully you accept it, the more easily you are able to navigate through that. I've told this anecdote once before. When Gadari is so upset that all her children have been killed in the battlefield, she curses Krishna. You made my lineage not go forward at all. You could have spared at least one son, you killed everybody. So let your clan also be destroyed completely. Krishna does not stand and defend and say, look, your children did so many things which are not wrong. I tried to correct them. I tried to avoid this. They were not listening. I got no choice. He doesn't defend. He just says, like the Kauravas, I am also your son. You are like my mother. I treat you like my mother. And a mother has the right to do whatever she wants with her children. So I gracefully accept your curse, my mother. And he has to go through that curse. No, ultimately, it does happen that he dies alone in a forest and his own clan gets destroyed. That is truth. But the way Krishna approaches the whole thing, very gracefully accepts, saying that that's fine. Do you see this? So prepare a plan and be prepared. And usually in life, when you are well prepared for something, it usually fizzles out. It does not. It shock usually comes when you are unprepared in life, and suddenly something comes upon you, and you feel, oh, this is what happens most people when they are faced with the death. The most certain aspect of life, you don't want to prepare yourself, even mentally. Most people don't want to write a will because they feel that it means that I am dying. They don't want to face that situation. At least in the West, it's become a part of your normal routine. But in the East, still today, people don't want to make a will. Be prepared. In all the disaster management plans that you have, whether in a hospital, whether it's a country level in the military, they write down the worst possible situation, write a plan for the best possible plan. So prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That usually works out. And more often than not, you will see that when you are well prepared, life does not turn out as worse as you think it is going to. Most of our worries and fears are in our mind only. It's only the weakness of the mind. A mind which is low in energy, low in prana, low in shraddha, which always constantly worries. You see, 90% of your worries never come true. Isn't this right? Just look into your own life. So having this faith that only the best will happen to me, there is some power which is going to look after me. Even if that best is something not very comfortable, not something which I'm liking, but in the long run, that is what is the best for me. That will also help you to come out of this. Do you see what I'm saying? So these are the ways you can handle the situations in life. Yeah. Be a witness to it. See that life is like a passing dream. If you cannot see that, if you think the situation is real, the problem is real, you have to do something, be objective about it, stop blaming, write down a plan, write down the worst possible scenario and write down a plan to overcome that, and have faith that there is something which is going to look after you. Be prepared, and whatever you write the plan, act upon it. And the plan should involve things that does not make the situation worse. One of the things that makes the situation worse, at some point you lose focus on finding a solution. And as I've seen so often, people develop this bitterness inside towards other people, towards the society, towards everything, that they start burning and decaying from inside. They lose all the goodness that they could do. When you are in the worst possible situation you can think of, then try what good you can do to somebody else. I tell you that one good thing is going to make turn the whole thing around. When you drop this attitude of revenge, when you allow somebody else to move away with a better deal, then know that involuntarily or unknowingly you have started some healing to happen, because you allowed the compassion out of you to arise. You have allowed the compassion to override your pain. You are allowed grace to override your hurt. In that way, you will feel much better. Not just feeling better, you will rise above the situation much more. Okay? Jai Gurudev.